Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, I guess technically I can't really say that because right now it's just good morning. So let me go ahead and actually add Mike in. He just hopped on. Hey Mike,
Yo,
what up?
yo,
What up?
yo, good. Chilling, brother. How you doing?
We we here. We're live. We just started it. So no outtakes, no no shit talking, I guess. So pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing? This is your boy Will, my man Mike right here. This is the this is a little bit nerve wracking because this is our first time doing it on YouTube live. So like we're gonna be having the giggles, we're gonna be having like the question marks ourselves as far as what we're gonna be doing on here. But regardless, we're gonna have a fun time here. So pretty much let's get started. Gonna have first of all, as you sip your coffee, how you doing, man? How's your weekend so far?
Man, I'm blessed. Um, so far so good, man. Just chilling, real relaxing weekend. Not up to too much, man. Just kind of kicking back.
Did you were you one of the many people that watched the Colorado State game last night?
No, man, I missed it. I had family obligations. We were kind of watching a little family movie. I was keeping up with it on my phone, and you know me, man. I'm an old man, so I got tired. I went to sleep, and I figured they were gonna lose. I really did. I was like, man, they're probably gonna lose this one. I was like, that sucks. And then I woke up this morning and I was looking at the scores, and I was like, oh snap, they came back and won. So
I think what impressed me was the fact that Colorado ended up they were down. I think in 2 minutes left, and I'm not sure. Actually, now I do know how the math would work, but with about 2 minutes left, I think they were about down. They were down by about 11,
mhm.
and then from there, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how is this possible, like mathematically, for them to catch up? But then I realized that the 2 point conversion and a field goal, and that's genuinely what happened. If it's not 2 minutes, it was like 4 minutes or something like that. So that's exactly what ended up happening with the game. Went into double overtime. It was just bananas just to have that kind of atmosphere going on in, of all places, Colorado. But
Boulder,
it was
Colorado, man. Live it
Boulder,
up.
baby.
Live it up.
In Buffalo's, like I said, the only person I remember on top of my head that was even there prior to all this was freaking Cordell Stewart, and that was like late '90s, early 2000s. So it was still fun. It was still fun to actually watch that go down. Period.
Yeah, man. Big ups to them. Big ups to them. The next 2 weeks are going to be a lot more difficult with Oregon and USC, but it's been a fun ride, and hopefully they can continue, to push towards whatever they're trying to push towards. But yeah, it
So
was a fun game.
pretty much you're saying it's been real, but it's not gonna like nothing's gonna happen.
Well, I'm saying
Nothing's
the
gonna
next 2 weeks are
happen.
going to be really hard, but
Yeah.
I hope they win. I'm not a USC or an Oregon fan, so I'll be rooting for them. But the level of difficulty is definitely going up.
Just a little bit. It's not. Yeah, it's not. Who was their first opponent again? I forgot.
I can't
That they
remember if
only
it's US. I think it's Oregon first, then USC, but I could be wrong. Could be the other way around.
could, but yeah, hopefully Dion learned of a couple of lessons here and there, especially with a rivalry, I guess, that as big as Colorado and Colorado State. So moving forward, we're still rooting for Dion to do good. He was a Cowboy and a Niner, so so no doubt we're both rooting for him. Um, so let's go ahead and get into like some of the people that's already been officially ruled out as far as playing this week. A couple, like everyone, like a lot of people are scrolled down right here as far as who we got so far. Greg Dolchich, I can never pronounce that name right. Was kind of one that kind of caught my attention because like with Dolchich gone, with they had Alvaro, who was a decent tight end as well. He's not even playing anymore with the team. The only tight end that they have of any kind of significance is Adam Troutman. So if there's anybody that needs some kind of tight end help, then that's exactly who you're gonna go to. That would be my general suggestion. Um, Deontay Johnson, who's actually playing on Monday night against the Browns. He's already been ruled out. Wanted to give a quick like possible pickup as far as who you may want. Allen Robinson. I think we kind of talked about him on a Friday show, but Allen Robinson, who actually ended up leading the team in targets after Deontay left. Could be a possible pickup if you feel that it's going to be a shootout. Elijah Moore, he shouldn't, in theory, be on anybody's waiver wire, but of course, I think he's going to ball out, especially with the fact that we just heard that Amari Cooper is questionable. Donovan Peoples-Jones, also a decent pickup in the event that Amari Cooper gets out. Is there anyone? Actually, here's a good question: is there anybody that you are actually excited to actually be in and actually playing this week from who wasn't last week?
Is there anyone that I'm excited to play from the guys you just mentioned?
No, from the guys who wasn't playing last week, like let's say like the return of Travis Kelce.
Oh, okay, got you on that. Well, yeah, Travis Kelce would definitely be one.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be definitely a big benefit, a big boost for Patrick Mahomes. It'll be nice to slide him in there and kind of see what happens with that. Beyond that, he played last week, so this is kind of not. It's kind of answering a question, but kind of not answering a question. He did play last week, but I'm interested to see what Joshua Kelly adds to the Chargers offense. I think that in the event that he's playing, with Austin Eckler not in there, and when he was being used in spurts, he looks really effective. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does today. But I know that was kind of cheating.
I'm kind of smiling because I did see a stat earlier today on Twitter that may not be favorable for Joshua Kelly.
Hey
But
man, I live a different lifestyle. You know how I roll.
I
He's
know I
playing
know I know
Tennessee. He's playing Tennessee, and Tennessee's run defense is really, really good. But I'm interested to see what the guy does.
for the sake of everybody else that picked Joshua Kelly up, I'm hoping he does well too. But just like Kendall, what up, man? So yeah, he talked about Kelsey being back in, as we just mentioned as well. Mark Andrews already been announced that actually he was a full participant in practice on Friday. Usually, full participants on the Friday before games is usually the great sign that he's playing. So I'm saying that he's playing. Looks like he's going to be in. There was a couple more players that I actually had on here, so I'm I'm actually waiting for the scrolling to actually get there so I can actually talk about it. CJ Stroud, who was questionable, is actually going to end up playing. Mark Andrews is going to be playing. Chase Claypool, who had some personal things going on with the team, he's actually active. DeAndre Hopkins, who was a little bit hurt, he's actually expected to play today. But actually, there's actually a good question I wanted to talk about. With both talked about Amari Cooper being questionable. So in the event that he plays, and similar to DeAndre Hopkins actually playing, like how are you looking at like the number two like wide receivers for those teams? Like in this case, like Elijah Moore to Amari Cooper, and Trey Burks to DeAndre Hopkins.
I like Elijah Moore a lot. Last week he was targeted pretty significantly in the game, and he also had a couple of rushing attempts. So I like the versatility of an Elijah Moore. I think if Amari Cooper is in any way compromised, I think that Elijah Moore can definitely step up and pay dividends for fantasy owners who are willing to start him, willing to play him today. As far as Trey Burks goes, I'm a little more hesitant with Trey Burks. I do like the talent. I do
Mhm.
like the talent, but just their whole passing game in general, it usually isn't really too electric. They're more of a rushing team, so I would just be a little more tentative to probably play him. But the talent is there. When he did play last year before he was injured, he was decently effective for a rookie. But I would probably lean more towards Elijah Moore as far as excitement goes regarding those two players.
So speaking of the running game, Tennessee, you got Derrick Henry on one side, and you have a person who, at the last minute for the past like 2-3 days, has been a been an interesting pickup option in Tajay Spears.
Tajay.
Now, is he now they just about split the carries or split the workload last week. And if they're more focused on the running game, or is Tajay Spears someone that you're actually picking up as far as a bench stash?
I love Tajay Spears. You know me, I'm a big college football guy.
Yes, you are.
Whenever Tulane is relevant, then something big has to be happening, and Tajay Spears was a big part in making that happen. Um, I would definitely pick him up as a bench stash if anything were to happen to Derrick Henry. I think that you could definitely use Tajay Spears. He would be a really effective play. And I do like the fact that he's getting a share of the carries there in Tennessee. So yes, I'm all in on Tajay Spears. I'm a Tajay
And,
Spears. Excuse me.
and I think that's why he was pretty important as far as getting recognized for being a stash. Like Derrick Henry, like we know his volume. We know how many carries he's done and over the past couple of years or whatnot. Like, and it kind of seems like they actually legitimately brought Spears to not exactly be the next person up in the event that Derrick Henry like gets traded or whatnot, but more so like a complimentary person, like a let's say like a Jamal Williams to DeAndre Swift last year, to be that type where like there's going to be enough to the point where Derrick Henry can actually rest for once, and then from there actually end up being as top peak as possible, and Tajay Spears pretty much picks it up from there. So it kind of makes more sense now the more I think about it. But like we're still talking about Tennessee. Like I'm not convinced in Tennessee at all, in general as a team. It's about to be 8:30. I'm just checking to see if any other news came up as far as getting started here.
Yeah, no
Like
doubt, man.
actually I was about to actually ask actually what kind of go based on kind of how we did yesterday, like as far or last week, as far as the show. And to everyone who's just hopping in, like once again, this is our very first show doing it this way. So we don't have anything as planned as we usually do with the regular show, which you guys can actually watch still. But we're still like winging all this. So we'll get a good cadence going.
Yeah, this
Uh
is let me offer you the assist. This is more kind of just um, us talking about developing topics and stories as they present themselves to us. So that's why my man keeps checking to kind of look like see what's happening because we're finding out at the same time you guys are finding out, but we're trying to report and give you our opinions based on what we are finding out. So just bear with us. We'll get there.
slowly but surely, we're gonna be you guys. But as long but hey, we had to get started somewhere. So this is where we're at. Um, yeah, just like Mike said, I'm just scrolling up stuff right now. I probably should have Twitter on my laptop instead, but I got it everywhere else. But let's see. Well, it's not exactly the great. It's not exactly a starter sit, but it's just a genuine fact that I just got tweeted that simply Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud are going to be battling today, and I think that's going to be fun as hell.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, that will be
Oh, and,
fun.
and actually, that actually reminded me. Zach Moss is actually active today, so he's going to be playing. So that should actually be interesting. Evan Hull, who I tried to talk about back on the show on Friday. He's actually on the IR list. So as of right now, the backfield for Indianapolis is pretty much Zach Moss starting, Deion Jackson the backup, and the backup to the backup is former Ram Jake Funk.
Mhm.
Um, which all sounds gross to be perfectly honest. But Zach Moss at least is going to get a good ton of value. They are playing against the Texans. So as far as it possibly even being a shootout, that's kind of how I see it. I'm just hoping that Richardson is actually being a little less wild and crazy as far as how he runs around the field. So
Right. We don't want to see the young brother get hurt. But even more than that, as weird as it's going to sound, like I actually like, and this one will be one of the few weeks that I would probably say this, but I actually like Zach Moss as a play today. Um,
Mhm.
Last year he was pretty effective against the Texans. I don't think that much has really changed in Houston. I think that could be a sneaky good play. Um, yeah, if you have Zach Moss or he's on the waiver wires and you're looking for some help in the run game, go ahead and grab him.
There is still time to pick up players, and another one that I want to talk about as far as possibly picking up, and I'm surprised people haven't done it yet, is Jaden Reed over in Green Bay. Christian Watson is officially out. Well, I'll get to that, Mike Lou. First of all, actually, are you able to see that?
Me?
Yeah, are you able to see
No, no,
the?
I can't see it. So I was going to say you have to let
Oh,
me know people are coming.
okay. I'll let you know. But back to Jaden Reed. The fun fact that I actually didn't realize is both Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs, even though Romeo Dobbs did have the better game with his two touchdowns, both of them got targeted the same amount of times.
Hmm.
Romeo Dobbs and Jaden Reed both had five targets, and this one is expected to be a little bit more different as far as a shootout. So if that's the case, um, I'm kind of interested in Jaden Reed as far as being picked up. Um, if you don't believe, okay, can't believe I'm going to say this as much as I talked about him on Friday. Like if you don't believe in players like, let's say, Drake London, if there's a player like him that you don't truly have your heart set on, as well as anyone else that you have somewhat questions about when it comes to that, when it comes to the flex, mainly it's just mainly the flex, or if you need a third wide receiver, then Jana Reed is kind of an option I'm kind of looking into right now. But like, I'm pretty stacked right now with a lot of my teams, so like if you're kind of out there, then that would be my general suggestion.
You know what, Will? I like that. I actually picked him up in a different league, and another thing I like about Jaden Reed is the fact that he actually gets points on punt returns. So
Just
if you're in a league where that factors in, that's a sneaky way to kind of garner some more points.
All right, we're gonna answer a question from our Buffalo Bills expert Mike Lou. Um, and I don't think he liked how he talked about Josh Allen on the show the other day.
Man, I had to keep
Uh,
it real. Sorry, Mike.
he understands. Devontae Adams, Debo Samuel, or Tyler Lockett, who to start? Now is this out of is it just pick Mike Lou? Is that pick one? Pick one of those three? He said not at all. As far as the Josh Allen.
Man,
So yeah, is that out of just one? Okay, it's a pick one. All right. So actually, your thoughts first: Devontae Adams, Debo, or Tyler Lockett.
Devontae Adams, Debo, or Tyler Lockett. Devontae's going against Buffalo today, so I know Mike's trying to trick me. So he's trying to trap me into picking Devontae Adams. So I'm gonna give Mike a little bit of leeway, and I'm not gonna go down that route. So I wouldn't. I probably not Adams, but he gets so much volume, but not Adams. The other two were, tell me again.
Debo and Tyler Lockett.
Debo or Tyler Lockett. 49ers playing the Rams, right?
49ers, and is it the Rams? Man, I'm terrible at this.
Your squad.
I should keep all this up. No, they are playing the Rams. Yes.
49ers playing the Rams or Tyler Lockett. Seattle's playing. Who's Seattle playing?
Seattle is playing. It's like a comeback game. I believe it's an easy one for them. Actually, no, it's not. Detroit. They're playing Detroit.
Okay. I like Debo. I like Debo. If those are the matchups, I'm a big matchup person. I think that does matter. So in this scenario, I would take Debo over Lockett or over whoever else he was talking about. I'm sorry, I can't remember all these names.
It's okay.
Yeah, man, it's early. But I would take Debo over the other two, or Debo over Adams or Lockett, because the matchup.
Just coming in, it's one of the people that I have right here, which originally stated that he was actually going to be out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City is actually active.
I don't
right
like
now.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't like him.
I don't think anyone likes Clyde
Yeah.
Edwards-Helaire, but like to me, I'm a fan of him. I'm personally a fan of him. I like Clyde
Why
Edwards.
is that? Why is that?
But he's not. But it's gonna take time for him. Like
Why do you
it's
like him?
probably the window's probably already gone for him, which kind of
Why?
sucks.
Why do you like him?
Pacheco, what was that?
Why do you like him?
His rookie, I enjoyed his rookie year. Like what he did his rookie year showed like a lot, of spark in him. Even though Jerick McKinnon came back and pretty much took over during the late part of the season / playoffs, but like there's spark in him. Like I remember, I just vividly remember him doing well in his rookie year, and like I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's more to him.
Okay.
But Pacheco, bro, you can't. Lou talking mess right now. Like, why do you like him? What, like you saying, like, why do I like him?
Yeah, I don't like him. So I just wanted to know why you like him. But it's okay.
But yeah, it's probably based on how I saw him in his rookie year. That's the best way I can actually answer that. So he could probably do better somewhere else, but as of right now, no, he's in a he's a backup right now, like third string. So, but it's still important to me. I'll answer the question as well. Someone just picked up Allen Robinson in one of the leagues I'm in, but Devontae, Deebo, Lockett. I'm a, I don't, I'm gonna say it. I would take Adams. Like you won't say it, I will. Mike Lou, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take Adams, and the reason for that is the star of the show last week for the Raiders, Jacoby Myers, not playing. Like I would think, if anything, that those targets could possibly lean towards going to Hunter Renfrow. Like, remember him, guys? He's a throwback. But
So I'm guessing Tre'Davious White doesn't exist, or he's not playing today. Is he hurt? Did he fall off the map?
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Like
matter.
doesn't matter. There's some players. There are some players that are matchup proof, and I've always felt that Devontae Adams, whether it be with Aaron Rodgers from the year before to Derek Carr last year, with everyone that they all played against, like Devontae Adams can get it done. Like I'll actually throw like a minor prediction of, let's say, with Jacoby gone, if they're going to be falling from behind. So I'm giving Buffalo a little bit of credit here, Mike. 13 targets for Devontae Adams.
You don't think the 49ers are going to force feed Deebo today for those same reasons?
Maybe, but I also feel that Deebo is more the main guy than Brandon Ayuk is.
He is? You think? Well, he might be, but he wasn't last week.
He's supposed. He like it's one of those where he's supposed to be. Like if you look at the chart, like it's Samuel 1, Ayuk 2,
right?
But the 49ers is always so damn weird. This is my squad, and I could say that. Like they're always so questionable as far as who are they going to who's going to be the star of the show. Like eventually George Kittle's going to have a 3 touchdown game this year. But Deebo is going to be a gadget player again. Probably. Like if they don't feel that CMC isn't working that well, they're not going to give it to Elijah Mitchell. Maybe they would, but if anybody, it would probably be Deebo Samuel. So, like, do I feel that this is the game for it? I'm gonna say possibly, because Rams and Niners tend to actually always do a bunch of trick plays with each other, and I just think that's just the way that McVay wants to zig when everyone else zags when it comes to playing against the Niners. Detroit did the same. Detroit did the same thing last week against Kansas City with the first on their first drive with the fake punt on a 4th and 2. So it really depends on who you play. So in this case, like I said, it's always it's always trickery with the Rams and Niners. So Deebo might actually be a good play today, but I'm still going to say Devontae Adams out of those three. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of the options there of Debo, Devontae, and Lockett.
I agree. Yeah, they're all good players. If you have them, use them.
And I'm just
Good
checking if
question
there's
though.
any.
Good question though, Mike.
Oh,
That's a good question though, Mike. I appreciate
I think it's a quick
feedback.
question. My bad. Seeing if anybody else is coming up. Oh, I read a very interesting note here, and I want your thoughts on it. We talked about Bijan Robinson. We talked about the question marks of drafting him as early as third, on the average of fifth to seventh, and the one league I showed you where he got picked number one overall. Um, Read a report, and it was backed up by Ian Rappaport, that they're going to continue doing splits with the carries between Bijan and Tyler Algier. So is Bijan Robinson someone now because of that? Is there any kind of panic that you have for Bijan Robinson at all?
Um, yes and no. And I'll explain why. Obviously, that's not any kind of news that anyone who invested highly in Bijan Robinson is going to want to hear.
Mhm.
But for me, I kind of expected it. That's why I didn't really invest a lot. I felt like he was going really early in drafts. As you mentioned, there's a draft where he was taken number one that you experienced, but he was going really early in drafts based on the talent. And yeah, the talent's there, but you also have to factor in the scheme and how the player is going to be used. So it concerns me for that reason, for the people who invested highly in him, and for anyone who has him, they probably had to do so in their leagues. Um, but at the same time, it also doesn't concern me because he is a special player, and he is
Mhm.
one of those kind of guys where, like, if he's gonna split carries, he's gonna make the most of the carries that he splits. He might break for 50 yards and have a touchdown, or catch a pass for 40 yards. Like, he's really really explosive. So he'll still produce, but it just they're limiting him, and it kind of sucks as a fantasy owner because you want to see him have all the ability to do what he can. So
I mean, if anything, that's just going to be how it is in the beginning, and Bijan Robinson is probably going to ball out later in the season. I would say if any time, like week 6, maybe like 5, 6. Once again, just like you said, no one wants to hear that, but that's kind of the reality. And I'm going to say the same thing about Jahmyr Gibbs. Um, David Montgomery is still decent. He's acceptable, as we saw last week. But once time goes down the line, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to ball out the way that everyone wants to. So just got a quick update since we're just talking about Bijan Robinson. Looks like actually Cordell Patterson, who we talked about last week on the last second being out, he's out again this week.
mm.
So it's gonna be Algier, Bijan again, and I'm hoping that Algier does well because I actually got him started in one of my teams. I think it's my ESPN league. I haven't started at least in one, and I'm just hoping that just simply that he does good. So
Yeah. I mean, Algier's a really good player. I mean, last year when we were doing our whole show and everything, I don't remember if it was me or you or Banny, but one of us talked about him, so we know he's a good player as well. So that's just kind of the situation in Atlanta right now. You have two really good running backs, so they're going to split carries.
thousand yard rusher as a rookie,
Yeah.
and that's what questioned me last year, with why they picked Bijan Robinson. First of all, I do kind of get it because of the fact that generational talent. But as far as like what Algier did, he did pretty well with Cordell Patterson, even with Cordell Patterson being in or whatnot. Once again, he was 1,000 yard rusher. He's a bruiser, and like I'm a big fan of bruisers when it comes to running backs. But as far as like why they had to pick him, it just didn't make sense to me at all. Um, had a wrote a not really wrote, but did like a TikTok earlier, just before the draft started, and I picked him as one of the 5 people who one of the 5 players, one of the 5 players this year that's a second year that was actually gonna do well. The others were if I can remember, Kenny Pickett, Kenneth Walker, Trey Burks, Garrett Wilson. And I'm not sure how to feel about that with that list right now. Like the only one who has even some kind of a prayer is actually Algier. And like I'm gonna also say Garrett Wilson because like I know we talked about him on the show on Saturday, but Garrett Wilson was still rookie of the year with Zach Wilson, with Mike White, and Joe Flacco as his quarterback. So he has Zach Wilson back now. So the questions, so like, Wilson could be fine. I think he's going to do good. He'll be acceptable. Kind of diving a little bit deeper here, but it still matters since everything is practically fantasy relevant. Deontay Foreman ended up being he's out for today, so he's that's Chicago, right? He's in Chicago, right?
Hey, Chicago.
Yeah. So
I like Roshan over there, so that's more opportunity for Roshan if you're a Roshan Johnson owner. If you want to maybe perhaps throw him in your flex or you're in a deep league where you're starting lots of players. Let Roshan eat because last week he actually he had 11 points, maybe 14 in a PPR league. He had a pretty good week last week for a backup running back.
He had a decent week last week, but also he did get that last like when the game was already done. He did actually get that last second touchdown, and
True. They all count though. They all count.
I'm just gonna do it. Boom.
What up?
What up, Manny? How's it going?
Good. You?
Chilling. Just talking about doing the last second. Talks about who's out, who's in, and things like that. It's our first YouTube live show ever, and I'm glad you actually jumped in. So I'm just trying to see. I got we usually stop it at top of the hour, so you got 12 minutes. I need some Manny noise. So
all right.
Hey, what did it do?
Have you guys talked about Roshan Johnson?
We literally just talked about it.
Did you? He's a good pickup right now. I'm trying to figure out in our league. He's still available. I don't know who to drop.
Hey, that's what I'm saying, man. But yeah, that can be an issue.
Yeah. I think whoever is a Khalil Herbert owner, and if you're a Khalil Herbert owner, you might want to go pick him up just for safety purposes.
Yeah, that's a nice handcuff. Roshan can play.
Oh, someone just picked him up. Is Mike Blue listening?
Yeah, he answered in with a question earlier, so he's definitely listening, man.
All right, so
he gave him the league, Manny.
No, it's a good pickup.
And I'm reading the comments here, and that was the point I was making, Kendall, that the Roshan Johnson points were last second when the game was practically already done. He scored his touchdown at the last second. Khalil Herbert really didn't do as much at the bottom of the game, or at the last bit of the game, and I would still say that there's some kind of significance with Roshan. I'm not going to start him, but there's still some kind of significant importance to me with him. Like I still don't feel Deontay Foreman is going to be like the full backup over in Chicago.
I got a question for you guys, and it's kind of fantasy related, but betting purposes too. Who are you guys? Who's going to be your upset this week?
Patriots covering against the Dolphins.
Okay, Mike.
Patriots covering the Dolphins. Upset for this week. I don't know, man. I really haven't put a lot of thought into it. I don't really do the betting thing, but give me some odds, or give me some stuff.
Here's mine. I think Packers. This is for the Atlanta Falcons guy. I think Packers go ahead and beat the Falcons. Falcons are favorite in this game.
See, I wouldn't consider that an upset because I'm not into the lines and all that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Packers would beat the Falcons too.
Yep. And then we just got an update, by the way. If you have Amari Cooper, he's unlikely to
Yeah.
play on Monday. So, Elijah
Yeah.
Moore time, baby.
We literally just talked about him.
Yeah, we talked about that as well. I like Elijah a lot.
Talked about him. Talked about picking up Donovan Peoples-Jones.
No, you don't have to pick him.
Yeah, you do. Donovan Peoples-Jones because not many people are picking him. That's why it's a sneaky thing. But at the same time, it is a Monday night game, and if you're at that bottom of the barrel, then you might already have someone on your bench to pretty much replace him.
Yep.
Like my boy Drake London. Anyway, moving on. So there's a couple of this guy. All right, so there's a couple of notes here. Aaron, yeah, Mike Lou has Aaron Jones, so he's going to start Roshan.
You're welcome.
Start him. Will wouldn't.
I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I saw who he dropped, and I'm gunning for him for who he dropped. Actually, no, I don't have to, but I probably will try anyway. You'll guys see in a little bit later.
We know who it is.
Okay. So Kendall wants me to explain the Pats covering. It's just okay. So
I don't. Okay, before Will gets started, Will calls out this stuff before like you never like it makes sense, but he always hits for some reason. I don't understand. Remember when he hit a couple parlays for $1,000 the last year, and I was like, how do you know this stuff?
Okay, so so that being said, well, first of all, thank you for that setup. Second, here's my theory. I personally, I'm in Vegas, so I can get a lot of different spreads. So I currently see them at 3.5. So three or at a plus 3.5. So 3.5 is usually is usually pretty simple to cover if you believe that it's going to be a close game, and I think that it's going to be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Dolphins offense at all. I think it's electric. I think it's solid. I think it's good. But there's two things that I'm looking at here. One, it's a division game, and division games always tend to have the correlation of it being a little bit closer than what it should be. Two, it's based on what they showed me last week against Philly. They were not that far away from actually pulling off the upset, and that was Manny's crazy thing for last week for the Patriots to actually cover against to actually. Did you say beat the Eagles or cover the?
I said come close to beating the Eagles. So I guess I don't know if that you consider it. They didn't really cover either, but they came close to covering.
Yeah, and there's absolutely, and once again, just like I stated, nothing wrong with the offense for Miami, but like, what are the odds of them repeating exactly what they did last week for it to happen again? Like, do you feel that, like, let's say for example, Tyreek's not going to do 240 plus yards and like what, 2 touchdowns?
I hope he does.
They're not. I know you do, and I mean I kind of do too because I got him in one of my leagues. Same thing with and there was barely a running game. And if there's anything that the Pats are actually good at, or at least average anyway, is pass defense. Mac Jones, I feel, can actually get back into a groove. Kendrick Bourne ended up being is Kendrick Bourne playing? He is playing, right?
I believe so.
I actually believe he is. Kendrick Bourne actually did decent last week, but I'm not sure if he's going to still be the guy. I'm still questioning. I always question Juju Smith-Schuster. He will never be a number one to me, and I'll keep on saying that. I'm sorry that I'm being so repetitive with that, but and also Miami's rush game is not rush defense isn't exactly the best, and they have a nice two-headed monster that didn't sound right with Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke.
I have
all valid points. All valid points.
Before I go, I know last week I gave some survivor picks because I know people were in it. My top 3 this week are Bills against Vegas. That's like the overall good one. I like Giants over Cardinals. And I like Saints, I think they play Carolina. But like I said, that's like my third just because of in division. I don't like survivor picks. I don't like doing divisional games.
I'm curious. Like, I'm only going to say one thing that I'll play devil's advocate on. Cardinals beat the Giants.
Nope.
Don't know how, but I feel that they can do it. Mike Lou asked another question. Since he's not playing any of us today, does he start Roshan Johnson with the Bears?
Roshan. Roshan. I read it.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, he can read it. How come you can't read it, Mike?
I don't know. Can't see it. Maybe it's on my phone.
Are you on your phone? I'm on your phone. I'm on the phone too. Hit the chat button. See the chat?
Oh, okay.
And then hit comments tab.
Got you.
So Mike Lou said, okay, I'm not playing any of you in fantasy, so I can ask Roshan or Gibson to start over Aaron Jones. And I say Roshan. Gibson scares me. You see what he did last week against Washington? Against the Cardinals, and Cardinals aren't that great.
And they're the Cardinals. Yeah. I would say who's Gibson playing? Who's Washington? Oh, Denver.
They're playing Denver. Denver has a good defense.
I might say Gibson.
You just want
Mike. You're the third person.
I like Roshan. Gibson. I think Robinson had 19 carries last week. I don't know how much of a role there is for Gibson to carve out. I would go with Roshan. They're both in similar roles, though they're not RB1 for sure. But yeah, let's fire up Roshan. We've seen what Gibson can do. Roshan's new.
We're about to roll up and finish up since we got since we're owners as well. Then we got a lot of leagues that we got to get into. So let's go ahead and do one final run. Give me something crazy that's going to happen. Anything that you feel that is believable, but it's one of those where it's like, yeah, we'll see. I'll start with Mike.
What do I have that's gonna be crazy this week? I'm just coming off the top of the head with this, man. I really didn't prepare for the craziness this week, but give me Derrick Henry with 4 touchdowns.
Ooh.
Derrick Henry with 4 touchdowns today.
Money line lock.
The Chargers.
I'll do that in a second. I'll do that in a second, Kendall. Manny, go.
Cowboys are probably going to beat their sack total from last week.
No. So they would need to at least get 8, right? So they had 7 last week. So they need to get 8.
Yeah, 7 last week. You think they could do 8?
I might throw some money on the under for that game. Both defenses are good.
They are.
I'm going to go with, I'm not sure if this is crazy, but it's just generally we haven't seen it yet. In the battle of the first-year quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud, it's not exactly crazy, but I'm still going to say it. Anthony Richardson records his first 100-yard rushing game with 2 touchdowns.
I like the sound of that, Will. You're coming on board. Come on the bandwagon with me. AR.
Never! I will never, ever do that. Okay, so Kendall's asking for a money line lock. Like so simply, who do you know for sure is going to be winning today?
I mean Bills, but the odds are crazy.
I'm gonna let you guys handle that. You guys are the betters. I do the fantasy thing, but I don't want anybody getting mad at me, man, if I cost them money. So I'll let you guys take that one.
No, but remember we stated that we were always going to do the outlier of we are not professionals.
Right.
We're not.
Well, Will does live in Vegas, so he's close.
Yeah, he's the guy for this.
I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna say I'm as close as it gets, but hey, when you're here,
the 49ers are gonna win easy. 49ers, Bills, Cowboys.
Let me see some odds here. Hold on, give me a sec.
But those are.
I would say Cowboys, but I'm a homer, so.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find something with good juice.
This is a long shot, but I think, like I said, Packers are plus money.
By how much plus? Like right now, they are at. Give me a sec.
I haven't looked, but I know they are plus money, and the news with Aaron Jones and Christian Watson might have made it even worse.
They're at plus 3 right now, and their money line is plus 130. So
I
and
like
150 in Atlanta. And Atlanta is home though.
I'm not sold on Atlanta. The guy's gonna yell at me, but I'm not sold. The playmakers, I mean, Packers still have their defense. That was amazing last year. Aaron Rodgers' QBR, if you look, last year's QBR wasn't great. He was on the bottom half, and they still did well. Jordan Love has to be below like average to do well. I see Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed doing well. AJ Dillon's a stud. I don't know why the line would move just because Aaron Jones is out.
So you really don't think that the Packers can repeat last week?
What, and win? I think they might
Yeah.
win. I think they'll win.
Or you believe that the Packers? I do like. I'm actually slowly starting to like Jordan Love. So
Packers just have to stop the run, like I told you.
okay, all right, Kendall. I'll give you a more obvious one, and I'm gonna give you a bold one. So the obvious one, or for me anyway, I'm actually gonna say right now the Bengals over the Ravens. Bengals are currently at minus 170.
Mike,
I feel that. What was that?
Mike's a fan of both those teams.
I am.
I feel the Bengals can beat that or can do that. And the fun one. I kind of talked about it on the Friday show that. But I'm going to say the Jaguars upset the Chiefs this week.
Oh no, that's real bold.
Well, I guess.
Like I said, I'm a crazy. I'm just fire off. So. Yeah, but I don't know. Possible. You know what it is? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is with the Jags.
Well, a guaranteed win is Rams losing to Sean McVay losing to your guy because he can never beat the 49ers. That's a guarantee.
Yeah,
we talked about that too. For a lot. We talked about the trickery and all that the Rams and Niners do. But let me explain my Jags pick. So we saw what the Chiefs did defensively against the run with David Montgomery and to an extent Jahmyr Gibbs. But I know that they have Chris Jones now. Chris Jones is here. He's making his debut. But I feel that Trevor Lawrence is going to find a way to actually, even with Chris Jones, that secondary, the secondary for the Chiefs is trash, and everybody knows it. I feel that everyone knows that it's going to be a high-scoring game. I feel that everyone knows that it's going to be a close game. So if it's those two plus Jacksonville is at home, why not go for it and try to make it an upset? And Jacksonville can be a tough place to play, with the exception when they go to London.
I'm the big advocate. You guys know this is I think Trevor Lawrence is very much overrated because of the schedule he played, and everyone got hype on him. The interceptions that he had every game that he played, the crappy teams he played. I think he's going to have 2 turnovers, either a fumble or an interception. Watch this.
Well, he did a turnover last week, but like they still, I believe he did. He didn't.
He turns it over every week.
So
everyone for turning it over. You got Trevor Lawrence that does it every week.
Okay, so I'll add on to that. Jacksonville, not only does Jacksonville win, but Trevor Lawrence also doesn't do a turnover. There you go.
He's got 2 in him. And Travis Kelce's back, and Chris, Chiefs are winning.
Yes, the O-line is trash in Jacksonville, but
nope.
But also at the same time, Kansas City isn't exactly spring chickens without Chris Jones.
I don't know about any of that.
Strip fumble.
We'll see what happens. It should be interesting.
He's not going to do that. But that being said, we gotta get going because we got stuff that we gotta handle too. So I'm not going to do the usual outro. So I'm just going to say for Mike, for Will, that's me, for Manny. You guys have a good day. You everyone follow our stuff. Like I said, this is like
The
this is improv.
Yeah.
So until then, see you guys next week. Have a good week. Enjoy. Have fun. Watch Red Zone.
Yeah.
Done.